Hey, this is Liz with Green Mile Gaming, and today I'm interviewing Stephanie. And we're talking about law enforcement, wife, military wife, and the life and everything in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you are a law enforcement military wife.
Yes.
All the way okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep.
Any advice?
Oh, you gotta be strong.
Why?
It's hard.
What makes it hard?
Let's see, long hours. We've had a few scares.
Long hours. You mean days? Like
days. So like it depending on where you're at. Like towards the end, Jason was on call 24/7. So
as a detective?
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I can remember times being there because I work nights, and I can remember he would show up, and I was like, "Oh, they're doing something," and it never failed. They bring in like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Like back to back. I remember one time they brought in a whole carload, and I was like, "Why?
What is happening?" We've had our house watched several times that the kids don't know about. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. For threats to us and Jason's family.
From like people he's arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't get that because I'm a CO.
No, we got.
I deal with them when they come in and they're like, oh, drugged up and then we get them calmed down. We're cool, and then I run into them in Walmart and they're like, hey, Miss Liz.
Okay, so Jason would hardly, So us going to Walmart would be Jason watching and looking the whole time.
Really?
Because there's several times we've had people come up to us and kind of hostile.
Now I'll watch and look because I've moved Jessica out of the way before.
Yeah, like we had somebody come up to us one day and Jason was like, oh crap. And I was like, oh, it was a student. He was like, no, this is going to be bad. And it
was it good or bad?
It was bad.
You're like, no, this is a student. And he's like, no, this is bad.
This is bad. And it ended up being
bad. This is one of your students.
One of my old students, yeah.
That he had arrested.
Yeah, and there's been, oh God, so bad. So there's been several students.
There's layers. We got tea.
Yeah. So there's been a few students that I had that I told them if they didn't straighten up.
Okay.
That one day my husband would end up arresting them if they didn't change.
Your husband ended up arresting them.
He arrested a few.
Were they drugs or just?
A lot of them were drugs, paraphernalia. So,
okay.
A lot of them were drugs. You had some thefts, but mostly drugs.
So I didn't think about that level of everything. You were a teacher, so you actually saw them grow up.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that. Like I've seen them, and I've been like, your child is going to be in here one day.
Yeah.
I'm going to be dealing with your child.
Yeah, straight up. That's what I told him.
Matter of fact, I actually made an inmate cry because of that, because she was crying about her child, and it was a bad day. Okay. This is not the time to do this with me. I had enough, and I let it out. And I was like, well, you know what? If you keep doing the stuff you're doing, I'm going to be dealing with your daughter. And
Liz word vomited.
Oh, big time. A lot worse than that. It was not kind. And she was, why you got to talk to me like that? And why you got to say those things? And I was like, well, why you got to do the things you're doing? And it just kept going. Like everything she said, I countered, and it was one of those walk away. Just
like
walk.
You just need to walk away.
You need to go somewhere else and breathe. And then sure enough, years later, her daughter was in the system. And I was like, yeah, I know your mama.
Called it.
Yeah. It was one of those things. I was like, well,
I did that a lot. Called it. Yeah.
So wow, I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
So how many of them did you say, if you don't straighten your out?
There was like 4.
And did they all 4 go? Or?
Yeah. All 4. So.
That sucks too, because like, they don't know how much we're actually rooting for them.
I try, like.
Do good. Do good.
Yeah.
Because I tell them, when I release them, I tell them all the time, don't come back.
Please don't come back. Yeah.
Don't come back.
We had one we sponsored, and he's doing great. He's married, just had a baby.
You sponsored?
Yeah. So we pretty much took him in, kinda. And Jason, he had full access to us.
You took him into your home?
No. Oh. I would have if I could.
But Jason was like, no.
No, we had kids.
Right.
So.
Well, I was going to ask, how did that work out? Because.
Yeah, no. So anytime he needed anything or if he felt like he was fixing it in trouble, he would just call us. Anytime. I didn't care, day, night, 24/7.
And did he?
Mm-hmm.
He took advantage of it?
Mm-hmm.
In a good way, not like a bad way.
No, in
not
a good
like
way. Yeah, in a good way.
Right.
And now he's married, has a baby.
So when he called you, was it because of the situations that he was in? Because a lot of times it's their environment.
Yeah, and he was being raised by grandparents.
Okay.
So, and then like in in middle school, he was, God love him. He was rough. He had his days. But now, other teachers, he wouldn't listen to. Would not listen to them.
Really?
Only would listen to me.
But he would listen to you. Mm-hmm. Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
There are some like that. They just want one person to deal with.
And I was this person.
I've been the person that they don't want to deal with. I've been the person that they do.
Now, he did get in trouble. No, it wasn't like bad trouble. I think he might have missed paying like a ticket or something and missed a court date.
Right. So he was like that's not
panic.
Because he thought.
Yeah. No, ma'am. Oh, it calls.
I thought you had your do not disturb.
I do, but on him it automatically comes off.
Oh. Well, tell him we're busy. He knows, Jason.
Hey, I'm in this interview.
We're in the middle.
You're on camera!
Lights are on, man.
Yeah, we're in the middle of recording.
Cut!
We're in the middle of recording. I gotta go. Bye. Throw that down there.
Be done.
So sorry.
All right, so y'all have kids.
3.
You've been with him for military, law enforcement, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he went from CO to deputy to detective.
Yes.
You were with him when he went to Iraq?
Yes.
How many tours did he do?
1, because he got hurt.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So he got hurt. So, okay.
He was done, because I remember him in uniform when y'all got married.
Mm-hmm.
And you were pregnant then.
Yes.
With the first.
Yeah, Skylar was like 3 or 4 weeks pregnant.
Okay.
I was just, boom.
Yeah, because I remember you were like, I can't eat anything. Bless your heart, you were like, I just feel so sick.
I know, I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So we got married in May of 2006. He said, hey, we're getting married in 2 weeks. Got married and then he left.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I started at the jail, and it wasn't long, and he was back.
Yeah, so he got hurt.
Because he had got hurt.
Yeah, and I think February of 2007.
Yeah.
He got hurt. So he came back stateside.
And then he became a deputy. And then how long was he a deputy for before moving up to detective?
Oh, wow. I think he was a detective for the last 6 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Yeah. That sounds right. That sounds great. I don't know anymore. It all goes together. It's just like a blur.
So y'all have also a special needs kid.
We do.
Child.
I'm
not. Okay. Well,
yeah, it's fine. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't care. Son.
No. So we have Chance, and he is autistic, oppositional defiant disorder, bipolar. He's manic bipolar. Sensory processing disorder, ADHD, and PTSD.
PTSD from what?
So while he was in school, he had an attendant, and the attendant physically hurt him.
And Jason's not in jail?
Nope. It was close.
It was close.
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, it was real close for both of us. So.
Who held who back? Because I know you, and I
my,
also know him from working with him. So I'm like,
my coworkers held me back.
who held him back?
Everybody at the jail.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Golly,
Yeah.
because I'm like, this is not a couple that you do
No.
something like that.
No.
There's no check and balance there.
No.
Like, I'm sorry
a
about your
little
bad luck.
little scrappy sometimes.
I mean, really, like that's
Yeah.
where that would go. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah. So that happened.
So what
2 years
happened?
ago. So for like a strain of like 2 months, he was struggling. Like he was hitting people, throwing stuff. I mean, just
And that's his. What did you call it?
obsessional defiance disorder, or ODD.
ODD.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
So, and I couldn't figure out what the trigger was. He doesn't really technically have set triggers. They change all the time. But that day he had threw cereal all over his teacher.
How old was he?
This was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He's 11 now. So when he was like 8 or 9.
Right. So he's a little guy.
Yeah.
Like I mean, even a normal, like not normal, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
even your average 8 or 9-year-old, these are big emotions that you're
They
dealing
are.
with, you know?
Yeah. And he and just kept eating at me and eating at me and eating at me, and I was finally like, what is happening? And then one of my coworkers was like, just go see the video. Ask him if you can watch the video and see if you see a trigger. And I said, that is a great idea. So I went up to his teacher and I was like, hey, is there any way we can go watch the video so I can possibly see what might have triggered it? He goes, that sounds like an amazing idea. Let's go watch it together. Perfect. Because he had no clue. He had absolutely
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
Right, because you have an 8 or 9-year-old kid that can't say, hey, this guy assaulted me.
Yeah.
Right.
So we go.
It was a guy, right?
Mm-mm.
Never mind.
It was a lady.
I was assaulted.
Yeah. So we go into.
You have an 8 or 9-year-old kid that can't say that.
Yeah. We go into the office and we're watching the video. And he's like, all right, this is where he throws the cereal on me, and he's like, I have to step out because, you know, I need to compose myself and go clean myself off. And I'm like, absolutely. He threw cereal on me for no reason. Like, I'm not.
Right, you've got milk and Cheerios all over you. Yeah, like
And
clean it off.
In his room, he doesn't have anything. There's no rugs, nothing. It's just like a prison cell. It really was. So, and all he has in there is his lunchbox, and he was laying on his lunchbox as a pillow. And I can see him on the floor, and he's crying and yelling. And then we're watching the video, and he's like, and his attendant's right here. And then all of a sudden you see her walk out, and he's like, huh. And we're like, okay, maybe she's saying something. Well, she stands over him. She starts screaming at him. You know how kids get when, like, they don't want you near and, like, no, get away. But
yeah.
He was using his feet. He never touched her. His feet never made contact with her. And then she kicked him twice and yanked his